Down below the genome browser link, we find this query line. The query line is a text-based query, and you can type in whatever you want here, similar to the Google query we were doing earlier, but slightly more constrained. It's looking in the names and synonyms of different pages. And you can narrow it even more. For example, if I look at the drop-down menu here, I have the options of all, protein, pathway, reaction, compound, gene, RNA, or chromosome. So if I know I'm looking for just a protein and I don't want to get any misleading results from pathways or reactions, then I can just select protein. So let's leave it at all for the moment and type in arginine and hit enter or submit. Here we have a set of results for things that have arginine in the name or in one of the synonyms, divided into the different categories: proteins, pathways, compounds, paging down, and reactions. And all these are links that I could click through to get to the object of interest. But for now, I'll click back. And now let's say we want to constrain that search. Possibly the most obvious constraint is to constrain it to a compound. So let's do that. I hit submit. And I have a list of compounds with arginine in the name. Okay, now clicking back. So that was the query line. Very straightforward. Searching by name. Remember that you're searching in the names and synonyms of certain objects, meaning that if somewhere in, for example, a curated text comment, there's going to be a mention of the item you're looking for, it's not going to be found here. You're going to want to do the Google-powered search for that. Next, we go down to Browse Ontology, and you might be wondering what an ontology is. And in case you ever find yourself wondering what a function is for, or what object it's describing, or what is just going on in general, if you see one of these little white question marks in a green box, that's clickable, and I'm going to click on that now. And what that would take you to is an explanation of the thing it's next to, whatever that may be. So in this case, for example, we have an explanation of what an ontology is, and we learned that an ontology is a carefully constructed vocabulary of terms, often called a controlled vocabulary, that's used to organize things into a hierarchy. Okay, hopefully that cleared that up. So now I'll back up. So browsing by ontology is a way of going through different organized hierarchies that we have within the pathway genome database structure. For example, we have a pathway ontology. We use the EC hierarchy, the enzyme commission number system, for our reactions. We have a compound hierarchy, and we have a gene hierarchy. So say we decide that we want to look within pathways, and we'll go over here and hit submit. And it will give us this display. Now, looking by ontology is a good way to look when you have an idea in general of what you're going for, but you don't know exactly how you want to search for it. So in this case, sticking with our arginine example, say we're interested in amino acid biosynthesis, but we just would kind of like to browse that part of the library, as it were. So what we can do is I could click on this directly, and it will take me, I'll do that now, to a pathway category. So here we have the very high-level ontology category of pathways biosynthesis. Not so useful. So I'm going to click back, and what you're going to see is it actually expanded the subpathways also. And you can do that without clicking through by using these little pluses and minuses. So I'm going to click on the plus next to amino acids, and that gives me these two subcategories of amino acid families and individual amino acids. I will click on individual amino acids, and that gives me these subcategories. I can click on arginine directly, and now I'm in the pathway class of arginine, component of individual amino acid biosynthesis, etc., all the way up. And I actually get a comment here about the class I'm in, a comment about its parent classes, and a list of instances. And an instance in this case is an actual thing. It's a compound, it's a protein, or in this case, as I click on it, you'll see it's a metabolic pathway. So this is the specific metabolic pathway of arginine biosynthesis, and as I back up, it's in the class of arginine biosynthesis pathways, but there's just the one in E. coli. And I back up and see the full hierarchy leading down to it from pathways. I'll back up once again. So our two take-home messages here are: one, browsing by ontology is a good way to look in the general section you know you want to look in, and two, look for the question marks if you're ever confused.